certain things are not helping you. As I said, this, oops, look at this bed line, right? It's shooting this way. And that's why probably this nose, because I said, it's almost like, yeah, you have the same height and the same nose, but this nose is designed for this bed line and these proportions, right? And you have the same nose, but you have another car here where the bed line is shooting down, right? So that's why it kind of like looks like it's pointing up, right? Because it's almost like if you have a line going from here to here, makes sense. Where you have this, and then it's going down, goes like that. That's why this is higher, and it looks like it's pointed up. That's why I was suggesting that the solution could be dropping the nose a little bit more here, because that's going to make more sense with the nose and the whole direction of the bed line. You see? Just imagine that cars have imaginary lines, right? And you have a bed line, and you have a direction, right, of things. And if you have all these lines here, and then you have a nose that is here, right? And it's not going with the bone, with the section, right? And your nose is here. That's why it's gonna give the effect that the car is shooting up instead of shooting down and sharp. So it's just terms of proportions. That's it. So if I do the example, how this here, right? How this here, and you are doing this and this. That's why it doesn't work, right? Right, because Audi is connecting all the way like this and it's making it sharp. And you're going like this, and then you're going higher, and then your nose is higher than the bone. Right, higher where the section is, right? The bone, this, right? Goes like that, right? And if we go here, right? Bed line, you have the bone, and your nose is above, right? So that's why it's all about that, right? Imagine cars in general are speed forms, right? I mean, we kind of like touch base on that, but like that, right? And then we have a core or a bone where all the aerodynamic goes, right? So, and technically this area is where you should put your nose. This area, right? And what you have now is you put your nose up here, and then you put a volume over here. Exaggerating it, right? That's why it looks like it's doing this. So it's proportions. It's like, yeah, you use the package, but you mean you trace the silhouette, but not really the volumes, right? So if I'm gonna get a more clear example, it's like if you drop this whole thing more like that, right? And it can be the same silhouette, right? But if you drop it more, you drop the bone a little bit more, right? It's even worse. Now it looks like he's really doing this, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I couldn't see. Yeah. Now when I see this, yeah.
Yeah. No, and I give you exaggerated examples so we can be sure of that. But you see, it's visual effects, right? So just remember this: you're gonna place your nose where your bone, quote unquote, is, right? And naturally, you should shoot this way. If you would have come up with this side view, right, the one that I'm doing, exaggerated, I would have told you to do, oh, you know what, lower your nose, and I would have done this, lower it over here, like that. You see? But it all depends of the design, right? So this design, right, Audi, what it's happening here is this guy had a very nice and tall gesture, right? That's the design, right? Probably if Audi wants to make another take and say, you know what, we're gonna lower this line, they would have come up with something like this over here, and they would have reduced the nose. But it is all that this is intentionally, they intentionally did this. So when you put your volumes on your package and try to reference the Audi and all that is fine. But just try to reference, like, try to pay attention on the volumes, how they handle the volumes, and how could you make an interpretation of it. And it has, as I said, has certain logic, right? I think this is the best way to explain this guy. Right? This is the best way to explain. This tells you where your nose is gonna be. Why? Because at the end of the day, you have two wheels. No, let me put it here. You have two wheels, right, on side view, and you have a speed form who's gonna cut the air, right? And if you have a speed form in this direction, naturally, your nose is here. That's it. It's as simple as that. If your speed form goes this way and this way, well, yeah, your nose is here. So that's it.